This one's long, you guys. You'll learn as you get older that rules are made to be broken. Be bold enough to live life on your terms and never, ever apologize for it. Go against the grain, refuse to conform, take that road less traveled. Laugh in the face of adversity and leap before you look. Dance as though everybody's watching. March to the beat of your own drummer and stubbornly refuse to fit in. And that's a quote by Mandy Hale. And my conversation today with the amazing Marisa Balletti-Lavoie, I guess she's French and Italian, um, is probably going to help you understand why I picked that quote. Thanks everybody for joining this episode and all the other episodes of the Profitable Photographer. Don't forget I'm on YouTube and an angel gets her wings if you follow on anything. All right, here we go. So who is this wonderful human that you are so lucky that you have tuned in to discover? So she's based in Connecticut. She's a PPA Master Photographer, Master Artist, and Craftsman with 2 decades in our business. And she's the creative force. Sorry, I'm a little tongue-tied today. Between behind Sassy Mouth Photography, and her niche includes branding and executive portraits, but also good news. She teaches and coaches. So if you love what you hear, you can reach out to her for that. Okay, she says she's the Queen of Sass. She was born that way, and she helps others claim it for themselves with imagery, storytelling, smart marketing, and bold self expression. It's all about presence, power, and owning who you are. And I just love that. That is the journey that I've been on my whole life. And um, I love that she's out there helping others. So thank you, Marissa, for saying yes.
Ooh, thank you for asking. And I love how you pronounced my very exotic name.
I had to I had to say it out loud so that I could kind of because it doesn't just
Well,
like,
the Lavoie is from my husband, the Lavoie. So he's French Canadian and brought
oh,
that over to attach to my beautiful Italian name.
that's
So the
perfect.
whole thing is fancy now.
So, when did people start saying you're sassy? Because you said you've always been that way.
Since birth. I have a shirt that says this too, and sassy since birth. I guess when I was little, sassy was often confused with bossiness too.
Uh-huh.
And I was called bossy a lot in my life, which I have found ways to harness, especially being a photographer. What else do our clients love more than to be bossed around?
Right.
And the sass has always been there. I
Hmm.
wish that maybe I could have harnessed it better in my youth and childhood and known the power of it. But
Right.
yeah, sassy since birth, definitely.
Yep. I totally relate to that, my dear. Um,
Yeah,
even like my name is Lucy, and you all know that. And Lucy on the Peanuts cartoon, she's the bossy one. He actually based it on his wife, who was quote unquote bossy, but I like that we just call it sassy
yeah,
because it is for women out there that are have always been called bossy, too controlling, whatever might fit that. I love the redefinition. I remember uh, a friend of mine said that a friend of his really liked me because I'm sassy. So I
yeah.
relate to that.
For sassy gals like us, when people say things like that they admire that part of us, it's hard for me to believe that everybody doesn't have it. So that is kind of what I do try to work with people on, no matter who I'm working with, is getting that little spark lit in them. If they admire it, then it's in there somewhere. Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
get it out. Yeah.
So
Everybody has an inner sass in them.
So define sass to you.
Outgoing, confident. Confident, I think probably the most of all is sassiness is based in confidence and a quirky way of looking at things, having a quick sense, a wit, a way of looking at situations and seeing the humor mixed with the reality of it.
Mhm.
I look at things and I laugh first.
Yeah.
And I have to find the humor in things no matter what the situation is. And then I put my little spin on it. Also an inability to control your mouth sometimes. Where sassy mouth comes into play.
So many questions for you. So how did you decide to become a photographer?
I'm a photographic artist since birth. That's the only thing I've ever really related to being. I've always wanted to be an artist of some sort. When I was little, it was an author tied with an illustrator. Because the little bubble that I grew up in, I mean, everything has changed through all my decades, where when I was little, there was only a set of real jobs that girls could do.
Hmm.
And if you're going to be an artist, though, the way to be an artist was either going to be an illustrator or an art teacher or what became a graphic designer.
Hmm.
And those were all legitimate ways to make a living. None that I fit into very well. Being an art teacher was probably the one I want to gravitate to the most, but I I didn't have the patience to go through the schooling for it. So I went to art college for a semester. I dropped out because my father had just passed away. It was 2001. It was a crazy time in the world. And
Hmm.
I just wanted to smoke weed with my gay boyfriend and dance to Britney Spears. I should not have been at art school. And so I came home and I got a job at the mall, plus size retail, and really worked through the system of a retail store for 6 years, two different companies. I worked for the Avenue and then I worked for Lane Bryant. I ended up managing my own store. I'm a bra fit expert. If anybody needs a bra fit, I can get you the right size immediately. But that was the college I didn't ever expect. And while I was at the store grouchy that all my friends were off partying and, having this whole college experience, I was in business school and I learned customer service, I learned management, banking, bookkeeping, everything that I needed to do for my business. And when I left Lane Bryant, when I left plus size retail, I was just like floating in the universe. I thought something would come along and save me.
Uh-huh.
And plus size modeling did. I started going to New York and I did a few runway shows and I was a fit model. They would just put clothes on me to see how clothes looked like on a human.
Hmm.
And I did a lot of fun things. There was a time where I was pitching a reality show where this is where I learned that I would never like that ever because they did a promo package where they twisted everything that my family and I had said
Uh,
to to get me to cry on camera, making me talk about my father, and then they made it look like I was crying about being fat. So I was like, I'm done with, I will never let anybody else tell my story for me. That's where I learned that lesson. And then through Plus Modeling, I started to take pictures of the other girls. And this was when digital cameras first came out, and I wanted to be a retoucher. I wanted to work with Adobe Photoshop. I had taught myself it from a Adobe Photoshop for Dummies book. And I wanted to just retouch. This was the beginning of MySpace and people having an online presence that had photos attached to it.
uh-huh.
So I would steal people's pictures from MySpace and retouch them and send them back to them. And they were a little insulted, so I had to stop doing that. So I became the photo producer. And so I'd make the photos and take the photos and then edit the photos. Then I got a couple customers that saw one girl, the next girl, the next girl, and it just went
So the rest is
until about a year in, and I said, "Let me try a wedding. I'm great with a crowd. I know how to talk to people. I think I can do this." And I did a Sweet 16 as my first event. I broke my camera immediately, crushed the pins, put in the the card in wrong. And so I bought another camera because that's what everyone would do.
Mhm.
And just really jumped into it. In 2009, I shot my first wedding. And then over the next like 7 or 8 years, probably did over 500.
Wow.
And really, 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 that's how I built Sassy Mouth.
Yeah.
That was like a floor show of hundreds of people every weekend, two sometimes a weekend that I could make best friends with.
Right.
And then they come to me for their babies were born, their milestones, and my studio was born in 2010. And it just photography was a really unexpected way for me to be an artist, but it's been the most beautiful, beautiful way I can be an artist. So unexpected, but when I look at it now, it absolutely makes sense.
Yes. So what I love about your story is that there was an evolution. You didn't like wake up one day and say, "This is what I want to do." You, like, I had a similar experience where I was working in the airport uh, at a currency exchange and travel insurance booth, and they ended up giving it to me as my own business. And so I learned all of those things. I was like an independent contractor while I was discovering that I loved photography, but I was learning all kinds of things I didn't expect to. I worked at a children's store at the mall. I had no idea I was learning how to manage children because after weddings, I did kids for decades. So I love the thought that what you did, putting one foot in front of the other, keeping an open like avenue for change and new things to come your way, eventually guided you to your rightful path of where you are today, and who knows what's in the future. I always love the thought that if we get our boat in the river thinking we're going somewhere, the universe or the tide or whatever it is might flow us into different little angles, but first we got to get in the river. So I love your story of how you got in the river and then how, there were twists and turns and adventures, and here you are now, the sassy queen.
Dang, that river's been windy. And my husband also has grown with me through it all.
Hmm.
I didn't ever realize because I lived it that people would look at us how we are now and think I'm a trophy wife of some sorts. Like that my husband paid for my way here. We grew up together. He went to college through the 6 years of weddings. He got his degree and now he builds a spacesuit, the primary life support system for the spacesuit. And it's like TJ has a great job, but like I like to say we are the American dream. We just kept going and kept working, and eventually all our hard work is we're not even to the full payoff yet. We're still always working. But I know if we just keep going with that flow,
Hmm.
stay in that universal flow in that river in our little canoe together,
Yeah.
we'll get there. Yeah.
So, um, I know you're the queen of all kinds of marketing, um, Google, SEO, all that cool stuff. But I want to tap in a little bit to how you support people being themselves, and we'll call it sassy. Some
Hmm.
sassy people are very quiet and introverted. We don't have
Yeah.
to all be out there, you know,
Hmm.
boom in your face. I'm kind
Yeah.
of mixed sometimes. So are there some tips? Is there a journey you put people on? And if there's step-by-step things, I know people love to hear, uh, a little bit of like structure. So how does a person either become or embrace their their own personal power? We'll call it that.
Ooh, I love that. I love that question. I was stuck in Sassy Mouth. I had built this brand and I was lost in it. And I didn't even I let people call me sassy. And that this brand had completely taken over me. And I do think that sometimes people get lost in their photography business, in any of their businesses. They get enveloped by the brand. So I got a branding coach in 2017, and I only knew that I could work with him because he spoke to our local guild. His name is Jeff Yoakum, and he was very, very point blank about the questions that he asked the audience and his responses. So I knew this guy wasn't going to sugarcoat anything to me because I wanted to start speaking. I wanted to start getting out into the world, and I couldn't figure out the next into it.
Hmm.
So I hired him, and I had been using very, very vague words in my branding. I always use fabulous. I always use magical. I always use beautiful, like super superficial words that I know worked for other brands, but I wasn't being specific enough to myself. So he helped me develop that, push past the boundaries I had there, where I was pigeonholing myself to try to mimic other things I had seen.
Okay, question.
Yep.
Are we talking about how you discovered marketing or
No, how I
how
discovered
you
myself within my brand.
okay, how you
Yeah.
so my question was, and I love that too,
Yep.
um, was how do you help people
Yeah. We were
discover
getting
their
into
own
it.
sassy? Okay.
Yeah. So he helped me. We figured out these words, and then I would be crying. I would be crying to him because he was asking authentic questions that I need to answer very straight. And I think that's what people need to do if they feel like they're stuck in their marketing, they're not getting the right clients, they're not getting the right outcome from what they think they're putting out in the world. Maybe it's there. I mean, this word authentic we hear all the time, but if there's something not connecting you to your client, you are not being authentic in some area of your marketing.
So
There's
what
something in your brand that is not hitting as truthful.
so
And I was hiding behind Sassy Mouth when I needed to be Marissa. And
uh
that was a hard thing for me to go through. But that was the inauthentic thing, was I was letting people call me that wasn't even my name. So becoming Marissa Queen of Sass in my business was the first step I needed to becoming authentically me in my business. And it did take a coach to asking me and holding me accountable for it, and somebody that I was scared of in a way. Every 2 weeks I had to go back and tell him, this is what I've discovered in this really deep soul search. So if something's not clicking in your marketing, you're fooling yourself somewhere.
so what are some of those questions that had you uh in
Well,
tears and going deep?
there's the words. The words was the first thing. 3 words to be remembered by. 3 words that you want on your tombstone. 3 words you want people to talk about you after you've passed away. And I had one built in, which is sassy.
Hmm.
So I was lucky in that way. And this is something that I still will ask when I teach. And I always credit Jeff for it because it's such an amazing thing it doesn't happen right away. And if it gets frustrating, it's because you're doing it the right way.
Mm.
So I kept going through these words and going through these words. And like I said, I had been stuck with magical and beautiful. And then I got the thesaurus open, and I have my journal, and I'm every word that comes up, every word that comes up, rolling it. And eventually I got to bold, independent, sassy, spirited, fiery, all these really, really specific words for my brand
Hmm.
that I was scared of to admit that that was my brand before. I really wanted to keep it sort of very superficial. So when we come to a word like independent, well, yeah, that's that quote you read at the beginning. My motto is I fully believe every day in free, independent thought.
Mm.
Every day, every day. That's how when I wake up, I think of what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. And there's not a lot that's going to hold me back from that independent free thinking. And I live my life 100% unapologetically. It is who I am. And those sort of things and saying that kind of stuff out loud scared me, but it set me free.
So how else can people who aren't, born bold, um, ask themselves those questions, develop that ability to just discover and be their authentic selves, which is a magnet for people who are going to appreciate who we are,
Yeah.
what we do. So, what other tips, activities can
The
you?
first thing that we have to do, I guess, would be just look at your website. And if that's showing the right message, or if you're trying to be somebody else in your website, I think that I don't know, what do we comparison? I try not to look at other people's stuff very much. I don't want a lot of other things swimming in my head, mixing up my message. So look at what you're pushing out as your branding. Look at your logo. Look at your website, what your clients see first right away. Is this a representation of who you are? And boldness comes in different ways. Like you said, it's not always ba ba ba. It can be boldness in all different avenues. And if you want to be bold in a certain avenue, like you love sports or you love, the senior portraits that have attitude or a little more funkier or whatever, like let's bring that up to the top. Let's show our clients this first. Let's make sure that that's what they're connecting with. Using words too to lead into the story at the top. Like
Right,
my logo forever, the top of my website said Sassy Mouth Photography, bold, independent, sassy, bold, independent, spirited, whatever it was, I hit them with those words right away because once I knew it's everybody, please, that's a great activity. Go try to develop your words and what you would want people to say about you when they talk about you. Because once you have your words, you have this sort of like bag of tricks that you can use in so many different ways when you're writing posts on social media. What I use my words as my hashtags too sometimes to
mm,
just file myself in with those words and also so people are constantly seeing those words over and over again in relation to my brand
yeah,
because that is my brand. So I'll have bold, independent, spirited. I use sassy mouth magic a lot. Things that I want people to always associate to me because that is my brand and that is who I am.
right,
So
yeah.
start with your words.
When I'm coaching somebody, we do an exploration uh, on branding. It's kind of meditative, um,
Mhm.
and with some deep questions, uh, like you're talking about, and we we try to define some words, exactly what you're talking about. And what I find is they're often pulling out words which I would naturally do too, that could explain any
Yeah.
basic good photographer, creative. Um,
Mhm.
that's the one that comes to mind. But those different words that what I say is if someone was telling their friend about you, what would they say? And then I have them um, post on their Facebook and any other group where they get feedback. My business coach wants to know what 3 words describe me. And then we refine and we look at like 20 different people saying different things. So I love that this thing that I created um, is something that you do as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the dig a little deeper and not surface level is what you have to do to really, really become a brand.
Right.
Those surface level words will not carry your story or your anything to your clients.
Yeah. If it's something you could say about any one of us,
Yeah.
then it isn't going to resonate with those people that
Yeah.
would
And
love
I did ask some of
us.
my friends when I was doing it, and they just got me more mad. Like luscious. Like I'm never using luscious.
Mm,
But it is interesting how people perceive your brand. I bet you now I know exactly what they say or the words I've taught them. And I do have a slide at the beginning of one of my presentations that is a quote, and it says, people will make up your story unless you tell it to them.
mm. Oh,
And
I
I
love
make
that.
sure to make sure every day in some way to tell my own story so that people don't have to fill it in themselves.
Hmm. I love that.
I'm the writer here.
I
I'm
love
the
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm also hearing that I resonate with is really we're discovering like we have a brand. The brand is us.
Yeah.
So we're discovering how we can communicate that and lean into it and get confident that we've got things that no one else can offer because we're always really only selling ourselves, not our photography or any other thing that we sell. We're selling that experience with us, that relationship with us. And so the discovery of our brand, I love that you value that journey. You've been on that journey. You help others with that. What I found is as I discovered that from a business standpoint, it also really helped me settle into me as a human,
Hmm.
more confident, more like on this podcast. At the beginning, everyone had a certain like, here's what how you do a podcast. And then as I got more into the groove of it, it's like I just need to be unapologetically me
Hmm.
and and you know let my personality and the personalities of my guests shine through. So yeah, a brand is really uh, just that how you communicate who
Yeah.
you are. But first, we
Who
have to
you
know who we are.
are and who you are and how the public perceives you.
Yeah,
That that's what a brand is.
exactly.
Yeah. And I also, another activity that I always do is we always do vision boards. I
Hmm.
don't know, I don't care if they've done one in their house or whatever. We haven't
Right.
done one together with the intention of what we're working on, especially for branding photo shoots. I make my clients do a lot of homework for them, and the vision boards in that respect with the photo shoot, that lets me know how I need to shoot their branding photos
Mhm.
that come straight out of their head, what they love the best. But when I'm working with somebody on their branding as a colleague or looking at it a different way is your vision for your year, your business, what you want to do. It's amazing a year later to go back and look at that vision board and say, wow, I really did make so much of this happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those are always helpful.
Yes. So, gosh, we're on a very similar track.
Aw.
When I'm coaching, I do what I call an identity map, where
Mhm.
they're not, but it looks the same. They're not dreaming about the car they want or symbols of their success. They're just pulling out things they like the look of or
Mhm.
what that makes them feel a certain way. And
Yeah.
there's always a consistent color palette. There's
Mhm.
always a texture similarities. Uh, I have them pull out words words that they like the way it looks, and there's usually similar, and that's again a guide to our branding. And
Yeah.
I, I had one photographer, he clipped out so many things from magazines that he put them on two boards, which really
Yep.
wasn't necessary. But the power for me was that his boards looked identical, even though the images were different. There was a swath of beige in the top, and the bottom was like a muted blue, and he had woodsy textures, and he had a little refined thing. And it's exciting to see that we all have this uniqueness that and maybe you can share ways that we can express that uniqueness that our clients will subconsciously resonate with. So thoughts on that?
Um, yeah, I'm unique. It's so funny. I love that word. One of my words I've never used is peculiar, and I'm keeping that in the back burner for someday when I could bring out peculiar. With the well, one of the things that I do is like you said, the guy made two. When I'm working with a branding client, I put no limits on this vision board. I give them no dimensions, no any requirements. I don't tell them what to do except for it needs to exist physically in real life.
Right.
And in letting them go crazy, that is an expression of them. Some people come in with the science fair triple fold. Some people come in with the littlest page back to back. So that's like an interesting way of letting them be free that I can interpret later on by how neurotic they are or how big or small they made this thing. What and sometimes it's just words. One of my clients, it was all words. And
Hmm.
sells digital books to the schools, like for the iPad. So
Uh-huh.
kind of
Interesting.
weirdly made a lot of sense to her that she turned in something that was all just fonts and that sort of thing. So I like to let them be free and not give them a lot of guides on that sort of thing. And I don't know. I guess all of us use our ways of communicating. It is mostly about communication, being
Right.
able to work with people on their marketing, on their branding, on anything, because putting the trust in us. I can't believe how many people let me tell them what to do, you know,
Right.
and
Right.
like hire me to let me tell them what to do. Who am I to know? But they trust me because I can communicate with them. And a
Hmm.
lot of the people get on the call right away and they'll be guard up. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. I don't know. And it's like, it's fine. You don't need to know what that is. That's what we're here to do. Tell me what your main struggles are. And sometimes that helps me know where to start better.
Hmm.
Like with the illumination session, I can jump on a 2 hour call with anybody and it doesn't matter where we start, we're going to figure something out by the end. And I had a client who she gets on the call and she goes, I'm sick of Facebook. I'm sick of Instagram. It's a cesspool. I go, oh my God. So, like, okay. So then tell me what the problem is. And she makes these very unique books. She's the coolest, quirkiest, coolest lady in the world. She's better on video. So that lets me know she needs to go to a platform where video is encouraged, and she should really be making like TikToks
Hmm.
or over on YouTube doing the shorts, something in a short format where she's able to connect very easily and not just the photography, not just the books, but like she's like, "Oh, I could go and talk while I have my coffee in the morning." Like, yeah, record a minute of your random thoughts. Start to connect through video because she's so much better in video. And then she said when she does sell her books, she sells more in person sales than versus online things. It's like because you're so cool in real life.
Hmm.
So if she's connecting with people that way, and so then I didn't have to spend 2 hours talking about Facebook. I didn't have to. We had to go right into editing video,
Hmm.
uploading, and it's able to communicate and hear your client's needs. That is a unique skill that we have.
So when someone discovers what they're good at, what they're drawn to, then that helps them make choices on marketing by doing what feels comfortable and easy and natural for them
Mhm.
rather than thinking, oh, I have to do all these other things because everyone says, to have the good SEO, I have to use the right keywords and I have to have a blog and I have to da 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 da.
Well,
And
that's important.
so what I'm hearing is leaning into what feels the most um, fun,
Yeah.
staying authentic, back to that word.
If
And
you're overwhelmed by Facebook, don't do it. Go to the channel that interests you. Find a different way to connect to your people. SEO is important.
well, yes, yes, but
But no, I don't let anything crush my spirit. And if it's doing that, then I eliminate it from my life. And that shouldn't be anything that people feel like there's some sort of obligation to do. It all is easier now that we have AI overlords as assistants. I'm able to produce social media content, so much less pressure. I used to feel so much pressure constantly writing
oh
the
God.
copy every freaking time. How many times can I rewrite this stuff? And so now I have an assistant that helps me. And I
Hmm.
love my ChatGPT assistant. It's the best assistant I ever could hope for. So we have ways that we can work through things that might maybe seem overwhelming with the traditional social media, traditional like SEO, the back end hard work. But if you want to connect with people, find which outlet is the funnest for you. Absolutely. I
Hmm.
think TikTok is well hilarious,
Hmm.
and I really just went on there for the laughs. But now I'm starting to use it. I made a business one, So when I'm posting stuff from my studio behind the scenes, it has a channel where it makes sense living on.
Hmm.
And I have like a World in Harmony one where I post the everything else. Like it used to just be me being funny online, and I didn't even want people to ever look at it. If I'm being serious, I
Hmm.
wanted it to be kind of hidden forever because so much of the rest of my brand is so out there. But now I've let that TikTok kind of get like picked up and it's doing its own thing. But TikTok is kind of a breath of fresh air if you're sick of the pressure of social media because it gets to know you and it shows you things you like in your
Yeah.
feed and it puts your what you're putting up there in front of the people who want to see it.
Uh-huh.
So it's not just the everything of the timeline. It's
Hmm.
very very cultivated for your eyes and for your people.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you said that you're good at helping people tame the beast that is Google. So, can you share a little about how we do that?
Well, while I was getting my degrees, I was a master artist. I got my craftsman degree first, and then my master artist, then my master photographer. And it took me a while. And I remember telling my husband, I went to I was there while you went to school. Now this is my college. That's
Mhm.
what I really felt like when I was pursuing those degrees. It was like consuming. I had to spend so much time paying attention to it. And I really came out as a changed person. But I sort of lost my stepping in my business and
Hmm.
I let my website really just it wasn't saying the right messages.
Uh-huh.
So I go January, what are we, 2026? January 2024. So we're on 2 years now since I snapped out of it. I went to Mardi Gras. I come home. I'm like, get it together, girl. You're done with this.
Hmm.
So I came home. It was like February, March that I got it together. So I started going through my website. It's a mess. That's a whole other thing I have to take care of. But I go to my Google listing. And at the top of the page, it says one of these pictures I've uploaded has like 500,000 views on it. And it's like for my business listing that I've uploaded myself. So I was like, what the heck? And it's a wedding picture, so I have to get rid of it because I'm not even doing weddings anymore.
Uh-huh.
So I take it down, I take everything down. And I can't stop thinking about this crazy number because, like, that's a lot of people that have looked at that.
Yeah.
So I put everything back up and then I start everywhere I go, like every restaurant, everywhere I go, I make a little blurb on Facebook.
Mm.
And I tag the restaurant and I tag put the pictures up and I write about it something nice and then it's up for 10 minutes and then it falls off into the abyss.
Hmm.
And it's all good and everything, but I've actively done this like my whole life. So I started taking some of those things that I posted on Facebook and I put them up on Google review.
Oh.
And I'm getting into it and I'm doing all the Google reviews. And then I kind of became obsessed with it. So this was April. I started this April 4th, 2024, my best friend Tracy Fidelio's birthday. This is how I remember it. And a month later, I was at Texas school. And I remember showing the people in my class that these reviews were up over 1 million. People had looked at them, had looked at the photos. So I was like, dang, Google's crazy. A year in, I think it was at 27 million. And right now it's at about 50 million views on my Google reviews. So in this study of Google and what a beast it is, I like it changed my whole mind. I have a social media pyramid. I've always taught social media and shown a pyramid of importance. And
Hmm.
at the top used to be Facebook, and now it's Google. Google is the most social media. Google will
Right.
never fall off. It'll always keep going up. People will keep searching it. People will keep looking at those
Right.
photos. It's just like YouTube. It's a medium that rises versus falls away like Facebook and Instagram. So I look at Google as the most social that there is, the most
Oh,
important. And seeing what I've seen, I'm at 50 million views now on these reviews. It's insane.
oh,
2 years later, that's where everybody goes first to look for things. And
sure.
now the way that Google has worked in back ends with privacy permissions from Facebook and Instagram, there's certain workarounds that now they connect. I used to not be able to see things come up in a Google search that would track back to Facebook.
Oh,
And now it tracks back to Facebook, it tracks back to Instagram even faster, even quicker with the right like intro words and everything. We can alt text now on social media so you can really tell it what you want it to say in the picture. And I started to notice this because my any ad with text on it would start to come up in searches. So
mm,
if I had like Connecticut branding on Sassy Mouth on a text, and because a lot of this I had to search things, it's always searching myself, searching what I want to come up, searching what people are showing up in those like Connecticut headshots. My friend Seishu owns the domain Connecticut headshots. So
mm,
he dominates the search. I mean, all the images, all everything. So now that I'm kicking his butt, I'm really proud of it. But you have to search with where you want to be. So I'd search things and I see Connecticut branding and go back to my Facebook. I started poking around Facebook and I find that now you can edit the alt text, but it makes like an AI rendering of what it thinks is in the photo. And it was pulling from those words. It's like gibberish, but it was kind of giving those words to Google.
mm,
And so now Facebook for my business, I go and I make sure that I'm uploading it with a file name that makes sense because that's part of it, part of what it's reading. And then
mhm.
I'm changing the back end of that alternative text to match what I want it to be searched for.
Okay.
Also, the way it's searching with Instagram, it's almost like there's no firewall, no privacy at all. And reels and the reels, whatever we call them on Instagram, shorts, whatever, the short format video, comes over to Google almost immediately. And it can be, there's a short video tab now, and there's also a videos tab. And if you like for my Christmas photos, I dominated that search. It was like every video was just my studio and people in it. So if you want to make reels and shorts, that's a great way to really rise up in Google and get seen because nobody's doing it. Right now, it seems to be a wide open market that not many people have realized Google is even able to search your Instagram like that. I don't like Instagram, but I started doing it once I realized what Google was doing with it. And it's fascinating, really. Google's a monster.
So, call
So
me
much, sorry.
call me clueless, but I don't know what Google review is.
A
How,
Google review, just like a review you would leave anybody
but how do you work a Google review?
through Maps, through Google Maps.
Google
You just
Maps?
search yep. Well, first thing that everybody should be doing is being listed on Google, your business.
Okay.
So people can review you and that you can be searched. And that doesn't necessarily require a bricks and mortar address. I know some people don't want if they're a home studio, they don't want people showing up there. But I have one for ASP that doesn't require an actual address. So there are listings that you can have, not your home address, but they can review your studio. So
Uh-huh.
first thing that you should do is Google your business, search it, and see what comes up. If you're not seeing your business listing, that's something's not connected there if you have one, or you need to make one. Back in the day, to get listed on Google, you'd have to sign up, wait for a postcard to come 3 weeks later, sign the postcard, send it back, and then it verified your business. It's much easier flow now. Verification, it goes a lot quicker, and you can be listed on Google and then ask your people for reviews. Send it to your clients. There's a link. Say, please, leave me a glowing review. That's what I always say to mine. Come on and help my business because that helps your business get seen, your reviews,
Mhm.
especially when they're all great. It just pushes them up. So what I was doing was leaving reviews for all of these businesses. And somebody asked me, bless you,
We
bless
have
you.
allergy stuff here in San Diego. There's
Oh,
one more sneeze in there. That's a little bonus.
okay.
Oh, but it's not gonna get there.
It's sneaky.
Yeah.
So somebody asked me, I went and spoke in Missouri, and she's like, what is it doing for your business, doing all these reviews? And it's started off kind of just as an experiment to see how big Google is. So I can have like a tangible, because I screenshot it all, the whole
Hmm.
process of it for when I teach, I show everybody how this like just snowballed. And I said, but honestly, it's networking worldwide. It's really like the whole world is my chamber of commerce. And
Hmm.
now I've given my reviews, I've posted the photos, they know my name, I know them. A lot of businesses respond and thank you for the review. They say,
Right.
say hi next time you're here. So this is like networking and using one time PPA commented on something of mine and they're like the world is my networking playground.
Mm.
And really doing this on Google has taken that concept where I just, networking is key to everything. But now I'm networking with every hotel I've stayed in, every restaurant I've gone to, and I give five-star reviews to a lot of things because I live a five-star lifestyle. But
Hmm.
but not to hotels. I'm very authentic with my hotel stays. But I try to keep everything upbeat and on brand, even in all these reviews. And I got a bunch to do that's sitting in my phone, a bunch that I've posted things about, but
Okay.
I'll do them all one day. Yeah, it's interesting. It was interesting to watch the numbers just go into the millions
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
on these views on these photos and videos.
Amazing. Amazing.
Crazy.
Well, we are almost out of time,
Oh my
so
gosh, I talk
two
so much. I'm sorry.
questions. I love it. Normally, I'm trying to get a word in edgewise, but I'm loving what you share and following along. So I haven't done a hold on with you. All right. So question number one, if someone wants to get in touch with you,
Mhm.
what's the best place to go to?
Well, I'm on the internet basically everywhere. On Instagram at Sassy Mouth Photo. If you want to be my friend on Facebook, it's my name, Marisa Balletti-Lavoie. If you want to be my friend on Facebook, be wary.
Uh-huh.
Quite an experience.
Yes.
But it's Sassy Mouth on Facebook too. If you want to follow my business page, sassymouth.net is my website.
Okay, awesome. So I'd like to give my guests a last uh, opportunity to either share something that you might think, oh, I wish I'd have mentioned that, or just a parting thought to leave us with. So the floor is yours.
Okay. I love that. Well, there's so many things. I want to say in regards to the PPA, if you have any desire to go towards your degrees, go for it. Find a mentor and someone that you trust that will help you and keep you accountable because going for my degrees fundamentally changed me as a human. And everything that I did to earn those degrees, really, I wouldn't be here. I couldn't be here. It's a big deal. It's a big process. So
Mhm.
if you want to learn more about the degree system, you please reach out to me or anybody that you know that has one. And shout out to the American Society of Photographers. If you get a PPA degree, you're welcome to join our club. And we're doing awesome things all the time. The ASP is on the up and up. I'm proud to serve as a governor for American Society of Photographers. We have great programs, mentorship programs, a wonderful print competition, image competition that is like the old school kind where your palms get sweaty and you kind of want to die, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's our Images of Distinction competition. We have that coming up in a couple months. But just like, I just love the photography community. I think that the PPA, especially photography community, because I've been in other ones before I joined PPA in 2017, and it was what I had been looking for.
Mhm.
Just supportive and just never ending support system. And there's really no reason for you to ever feel alone or lost. There's so many people that are willing to be be mentors, be guides. There, listen if all you need to. Like, I have to send my print case to somebody for PPAM because it's a mess, and I know like I have so many people I can send it to that will really give me the feedback I need to make sure that I can accomplish my goals. And I love this community. And thank you for having me on here, Lucy. You're an absolute delight.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I feel the same about you.
Aw.
I knew I would be delighted, we'll just use that word again, to have a great conversation. And I love everything you say about PPA and ASP. I'm so proud that, and if I had the whole list, I would know even more. But three of the people who in the IPC International Print Competition
Mhm.
was best in category have been on my podcast. And the
Aw.
person that came in second was also uh, on the show. So the quality of people that we get on this show that I get to have a great conversation with uh, astounds me. And I'm just so grateful that people like you take the time to share. We're listened to in 110 countries. So
Oh,
you're
yeah.
impacting the world.
I
Uh,
was scrolling through all your past guests. You have had quite the roster.
yeah, and more
It's
to come.
amazing.
So, yeah.
Well,
Well, thank
honored to be on there now. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I want to remind people to stay on, if I can do a little quick summary of what Marissa's shared. That's my goal, but stay on after we say goodbye. But Marissa, you have been such a delight and a blessing today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm having trouble finding my pause button. There we go. And so we said our goodbyes, and here I am with you one on one. So if you've listened, you know that one of the best things about this podcast for me is just getting to have quality time with someone that I've admired or wanted to be friends with. And Marissa definitely checked both of those boxes. So thank you, Marissa. I'm a little challenged to summarize other than what she suggests and what she's done with herself is do a deep exploration in who we are. And that will help us unearth, excavate, if you would say, our true brand. Because when we're um, finding out more about who we are and then we communicate that, then there's no comparison. If everybody says we're creative and the other common words that most photographers would relate to, our potential clients don't know how to differentiate. So the power of that deep exploration and then the power to communicate that is super powerful. And she also suggests that we get sassy, be ourselves, get out in the world. So that's all I have to say for this little wrap up. But thank you for listening and sharing and all that good stuff. Bye for now.